Howdy, everyone. Come on in, come on in. It's Dr. Flo. Not telling you what I heard, what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. We're back for another week of fun because we really enjoy having conversations with each other and also with the world about the things rolling around in our brains. We gather for support and accountability. Our programs run throughout the day for all of those who are available. You can visit our website for our current needs and seeds. We coach daily, locally, and also online, and there are performance lessons available through Tara Parolo Studio and also through Loved and Lovable Academy. Are you in the right spot? We are. Tara, introduce yourself to these folks today. Here.
Hi, babies. It's Tara Prilo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician. And I have shit in my throat. I talk about the issues that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. Baby, you can find me at Tara Prilo Studio on all the platforms that matter and at taraprilo.com/links. Joy is the revolution. Let's get started. Oh boy, I think we turned on cartoons. Okay, so I told Dr. Flo I was going in one direction, and I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction because it's based off of something that he was talking about yesterday, or the day before, which is the deservability. I want to talk about deservability, and I want to talk about disruption, and I want to talk about what your realization in the live yesterday as you were talking about deservability, and you were talking about like the quietness, like you don't have to scream. And I mean, I tell this story a lot, and I'm sure I've actually told it on Deconstruction Junction before, but certainly on my own platforms, I've told this story of something that I emulate often, which is kind of where Never Louder Than Beautiful plays into multiple facets of my life. But my dad always tells this story about this teacher. I cannot remember his name, honey. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Jefferson, Mr. Jeffries, I don't know, Mr. something, child. But in elementary school, he would walk out into the hallway where all the kids are screaming and, they're at their lockers and they're loud. And he would just go, and the whole place would go silent. Like that's power. And so I wanted to bring that back as I was sitting there thinking about that this morning / right now. How did you come to that conclusion? How does that feel? Do you feel like that is a part of deconstruction? It sounded like you were deconstructing a little bit on the live yesterday. And tell us a little bit more about it.
So I'm in a deconstruction and deprogramming process in my life where essentially everything that I believe to be true around the nature of politics and religion and just life generally was a lie. Including the things that I was taught about myself in my many intersectional spaces. How I landed at deservability was through Jim Rohn's teaching, that you have to feel that you deserve something in order to manifest it. And I realized through introspection and listening to that teaching that I have not in my recent history felt that I deserved great things. Sure, I teach and I do have and feel that I deserve great sex, great food, and great adventures, but what if my deservability around those things, especially, the food and the adventures, what if there's more to be had there? I'm very, very satisfied with my partner and I love him very, very much. So we can check that box off. But in the other areas of my life where I would like to grow and have a growth mindset, if I don't believe that I deserve to grow, if I don't believe that I deserve to have better, I simply won't have it. And it was like a light bulb went off, or like a moment of clarity where it's like everyone is having the experience of life that they believe they deserve. And so I need to get very, very clear about what it is that I actually want from myself, and get clear about whether or not I like this has nothing to do with like an audience or even you, Tara. It's like I inside have to make an agreement to align with what I want. And I think that at the root of all of this, there's two ideas that have been going on this week: the deservability conversation, and also the one around bothering ourselves. I don't think that I ever really had a real conversation with myself in the last few years about what I deserve, because I was so busy bothering myself. And if you're in the space today and you're out there bothering yourself, this is an invitation from the two of us to stop. Stop bothering yourself, because bothering yourself and agitating yourself will cause you to be bothered and agitated with everybody else around you, especially the people closest to you who get the most blame from us, the people who are closest to us. And I think me stopping bothering myself created the conditions for me to really get clear about, oh, well then, now that I don't think that anything's wrong with me, well, what do I want? And that's like the bing question for like everybody. It's kind of like we in our mindset practices individually and collectively encounter people who sometimes complain about their lived experience. My first question to a person that's complaining about their lived experience is, well, if you don't want the experience you're having right now, what experience would you like?
Yeah, what are you calling in, right? Instead of forcing out. I had a conversation this week with someone, and I've had this conversation many times with like many different people of like, people are like, well, I'm just in this way, and like, how do I get out of this? And I make a suggestion, and they're like, well, I don't do that. And I'm like, okay, how about this? Well, I don't do that. Okay, well, how about this? Well, I don't do that. And like, I've been there. I've been in that place before where people are like, Tara, go journal. Tara, go do this. Tara, go do that. What in the world?
It also sounds like a fixed mindset situation rather than a growth mindset situation.
Right. And it's like, can you just experiment with something, and then take it and make it your own way? Like, I think we were listening to something the other day that referenced the beginner's mindset. I don't remember who it was, Chow. We listen to a lot around here. But the beginner's mindset is essentially that you approach everything in your life in an exploratory fashion, right? It doesn't matter if you've done it before. It doesn't matter if you're good at it. Or if it's brand new. It just matters that you approach it with an experimental mindset. And I just encourage all of you, as you're going to these things and you're having these realizations like Dr. Flo is talking about, and this deservability conversation is huge, right? Is so big, because at the intersection of our identities, and this is what you were saying yesterday, was at the intersection of our identities, there is a quote unquote appropriate amount of deservability according to society, right? You deserve something because you're white. You deserve something because you're Black. You deserve something because you're gay. You deserve something because you're queer, right? Like there's an upper limit on that deservability for every single one of those, right? White women, right? You deserve something, but there's a limit to your deservability.
I want to interject and say that it also applies even to like a threshold, upper threshold of joy. Like, because you're a brown person, you're only supposed to exhibit this level of joy in public. Anything beyond this threshold of joy, we cannot participate in that.
Right. And if you perform, or if you do too much joy, if you show too much joy, well, it must be a performance. You can't actually be that joyful with your life, right? You can't actually do these things. So I think that, to reference what happened with Hillary Clinton, like, let's break glass ceilings, and Kamala Harris, right, being VP, like, that upper limit, whatever that upper limit is of deservability or of joy or the expectation from society, break it in your own circle. I mean, we were listening to this crazy Ye interview yesterday, but something he said was, I'm in a glass prison. So break out of your glass prison. Glass breaks. Glass isn't meant to bend. It's not meant to be reformed. It's meant to break, right? So do those things and take a chance on it. Push the damn button, as I talk about. And this is, Dr. Flo is trudging into where I was going to go today, which is, the more and more I dig into decolonization, deconstruction work, the more and more I realize that it is personal development, growth mindset work, right? Like, you cannot deconstruct or decolonize if you are unwilling to grow. And if you are unwilling to be challenged, and if you are unwilling to find new ways. And so I just, like, when I listen to some of the things that we listen to now, like even like the Abraham Hicks this morning, which for the first time I realized that when she's talking and she says we, she's for sure talking about the damn alien.
All of them. Yeah, the whole council.
I had no idea up until today. And then I was...
What do you think she was talking about? Her team?
I don't know. I was like, I thought she was referencing like authors or something. I didn't know she was talking to aliens. Good for her. Anyway, so
wait, but I feel responsible because...
Well, you just told me like a week and a half ago that she talks to aliens, and I never
told you that. Who told you that?
I never knew that. You told me that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's like the first thing that you should know. Is like she's like channeling like Bashar, but God knows from where.
You've never told me that before.
So then, who did you think she was talking?
I thought it was the people in the audience, or like the people that she'd experienced, or like her coaching practice. Like, I don't know. I was just assuming maybe she had multiple personalities.
Are you more or less entertained now by the whole work of it now that you know that she's just
slightly more?
Because I mean, you've also never seen her to deconstruct, you guys to deconstruct. Mm-hmm. You've never seen her also like mount the stage. So she steps up on stage and she goes, "Hello, everybody, goodbye," and then she like leaves. It says goodbye, and then she stands there and she kind of does like this, and then she lets this entity like speak
now,
to her.
Has she ever been abducted by aliens, or she just talks to the aliens?
She taps into, it's like a frequency thing for her. She says she's tapping like a radio frequency. She's tapping into this field of awareness, and it comes through her as like thoughts that then she translates into verbal, a lot like the human brain does,
Right. So it's not like an Area 51 thing. It's just like a brain thing.
There's nothing that you can see in the movie. No, it's not that kind of party, but wildly popular, and it actually works in my experience. Her and her aliens have always been able to cause me to find alignment with what I want to do with my life. And I mean, in multiple, if you live long enough, you have multiple versions of your life and multiple versions of yourself that exist as you evolve. And in multiple versions of me, the teaching has helped, And so I chose to kind of look over the fact that it's this channeling, mystical, spiritual woo-woo thing, and that trusting your feelings and trusting your intuition and trusting your inner guidance and as it relates to a happy life, she nails it.
Yeah, but you can, like, when you listen to those things, I mean, to your credit, when you listen to that personal development, when you listen to those tapes, at whatever point in your life, you have been open to a growth mindset, right? You've been open to deconstructing and decolonizing. And so when I was listening to it this morning, there were so many things. Like, she was talking about she was talking about fear, right? And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? And so I think part of personal development work, and even like these, listening to these crazy interviews that this man has me listening to.
Open mind. I want to hear
Right.
what's out in the space, because when someone starts going in about the ways of the world and the things that are happening, I want to have a well-informed opinion to be able to help and to serve. So, but it was 3 hours. We listened to the Drunk Champs Kanye interview all 3 hours last night. And y'all, if you want a bumpy ride,
Took you somewhere, child. At least there were some things that I agreed with, such as his closing statement, but it was a wild ride to get to the closing statement, which was basically like, everybody needs to put their hands in the circle, right? We got to work together. Go team. It's like, okay, yeah, we didn't need 3 hours of hullabaloo to get there. But anyway, just having that growth mindset and like allowing yourself to view things differently in the moment, right? You could have listened to the same thing yesterday and find something new about it today, like you did with Michael Singer. I mean, I'm presuming you've listened to Michael Singer in the past. You've experienced that stuff in the past, and all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks it's been like, oh, I'm bothering myself, stop it. So when we're gathering that information, and I think a lot of people, when they do personal development work, and then when they do deconstruction work, and when they do decolonization work, inevitably the thing is like, how do I solve it? How do I fix it? I just want to fix it. I just want to fix it. And it's like, that's not actually what those tools are. They are just tools to open you to your own deservability, your own ability to disrupt, your own ability to think, right? And your own ability to move towards whatever your goal is. So they don't have the answers. They just have conversation, right? So that was all I want to say on personal development. You got comments?
I think that not bothering myself and getting clear about what I deserve as it relates to myself, my close relationships, my distanced relationships, my audiences at large, like getting just very clear. Even, shout out to Unfuckwithable with Flow, Team Unfuckwithable, because journaling and mapping your gratitude and mapping your growth journey as it relates to your dreams and paying attention to your dreams and being mindful of your dreams has a way of focusing you and fine-tuning you into what you deserve. Everyone that's close to me, or everyone that I would consider close to me in life at present, they know what they deserve. And they're stepping towards what they deserve.
Stepping towards it and learning to embrace it, right? That's been the biggest thing for me, right? Like, I deserve to be a leader, and I like inherently know that, but stepping towards leadership has been the struggle for me, right? Is like, but I just want to fund somebody else to be the leader. I just want to find the money to fund. It's just all I want in my life. No, girl, go be the damn leader. You deserve it.
I deserve to lead.
Yeah. Piper agrees.
Well,
Piper.
good, because you're the leader there.
Piper really agrees, apparently. Yeah, it's lucky that I'm the leader, because let me tell you, 4.5-month-olds, they make some crazy decisions about their lives. I have a Geronimo baby. So my baby is currently trying to jump ship on literally any device that they sit in. They try to roll over the side now. So, seems safe, you know. I just seems really safe. But they'll learn first time they fall out of it. Don't worry, y'all. My child is heavily supervised. It's just amusing that that always happens. It's like, you cannot do that, kiddo. So we've got maybe I don't know, 15 left or so. Do you want to talk about the debate, or do you have somewhere else you'd like to go?
I would love to talk about the debate. I would love to talk about the debate. I also would like to talk about. There are a couple things that have happened. The debate has happened with Kamala Harris and Trump. We've also seen an appearance from her from the National Association of Black Journalists. That was very interesting to watch.
I did not see that at all. I saw you live Facebooking about it, but I did not see any of it because I was doing something. I don't know what. Oh, I was at a board meeting.
In full. Wow. And also, Oprah hosted a live stream event for her last night that I'm just now picking up on pieces of.
Okay.
So she's out and about in the world. The theme is hope and joy and other things. What is your interpretation of what this lady represents and what kind of change she might bring?
So here's what I want to say to people. Multiple things can be true at once. And we talked about this. Listen, we talked about this on my page. We talk about this on my page all the time. But we've talked about this specifically in reference to October 7th. And y'all know this is we're rounding the corner. It's literally in 2 weeks that we have been witnessing and stood by, and as our government literally funds bombs dropping on innocent people. And this is not new. Our government has done this to several countries. So don't get it twisted that this is the first time. No, it's not. It ain't. But anyway, we can just hold two truths there, and we can hold multiple truths. So we can hold the truth that representation of a South Asian Black woman, the first woman president, is a real potential. And we can also hold the truth that she is a part of the system. She is not the savior, right? She's not going to tear it down like some of us want, right? And the other truth that we have to really I find this to be the truth that I've been wrestling with a lot, which is that power as it exists right now is not the kind of power that I want to cultivate. It's not the kind of power that I think is going to change the world. I think it's a very selfish power. I think it's a very dangerous power. And these are the conversations that I'm witnessing on a Undistracted with Brittany Packnett and Assembly Required. I cannot recommend the episode, Thursday's episode, enough. That episode, I did not expect it because it was on rent and evictions and how the rent is too damn high, child. The rent is too damn high. Which is true. But they ended up having this discussion on holding power and wielding power and how we can change the concept of power. And I just think that is a fascinating discussion, because when I talk to people about we have the potential, I think in some people's minds, and I heard this a lot over the course of my life, people are like, well, if only we had a woman president, everything would be better. If only we had a Black president, everything would be better. Newsflash, the world didn't change that much when Barack Obama was president, child. It was more of the same. Sure, he gave you some really expensive health care. Sure, he gave us representation, but he didn't actually change the status quo. And so when we're talking about if this organization was just replaced by a woman instead of this man running the organization, it would all be better. That's a false narrative. That's completely.
Why do you think it is that we place the burden of lifting and solving on the exceptional person at the top? Why do you think we abdicate our responsibility and put it on them as totem?
Because holding accountability is really hard. That's the hardest thing, right? Is like if we think about building our dreams every day, like I keep seeing these discussions like, oh, I wish I could be more consistent. Oh, I wish I could post more. Oh, I wish da, 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 da. You're just not holding yourself accountable to the paper. I do it too, y'all. Right? You make your goals and you want to check them off, but then you just are like, I don't feel like it today. Right? So personal accountability is the biggest thing. And we are taught and indoctrinated into the ideology that the collective can't be trusted, right? And so an individual has to come save us. This is why religions work, right? God is coming to save you. Allah is coming to save you. Allah commands you to have da 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 da, right? That's why we had kings. That's why we had monarchies. Right? It was because we cannot, the collective cannot be trusted. That's how people steal and hold power. And all of that is in relation to how we do not have personal responsibility or community responsibility to and for each other. So I think, do we still need a president right now? Yeah, because there's not a critical mass of people who believe that a president is essentially the same as the Queen of England. Sorry, it's king now. My bad. Elizabeth done bad. She done died, child. It was sad. She was old.
Rest in peace, colonizer.
Right. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, madame. You lived to be old. But yeah, I just think it has a lot to do with our indoctrination into this society. What say you on that topic? Why do we need a president?
Why do we need a president? That's where we landed. That's the question we landed. Why do we need it?
Or what question would you like?
No. I will answer that question. I'm not sure that a closeted, not so closeted anarchist is the person to answer that particular question as we land and get you into your next meeting. But I can take that one. I think that Kamala symbolizes a great deal of change because of her soul meat clothing. However, it's going to take a lot more for us to actually enact the changes that she envisions and that so many of us envision.
Right, the infrastructure isn't built.
None of us are going to be able to follow a presidential candidate or a president that honors all of us in this country until we become presidential in our own lives. And to your point earlier, a lot of us are not presidential in our lives. We are not great CEOs of our lives. In fact, if someone came through the ranks of our lives, I mean, we may not fail, but there would be areas of improvement for all of us as it relates to being CEOs and presidential in our lives. So, do we need a president? No. However, we do need ideals of hope and joy and peace and growth to be, the stronger narrative. I'm basing my flow politically in this season around like the vibrational energy of how things feel to me when I take it in. And when I take in the Trump camp personally, it feels very dark and nefarious and low energy and very scary. Like they're intentionally trying to just like scare people and I don't like that energy as opposed to is seeming to want to at least foster a narrative of hope.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Whether it's true or not, it remains to be seen.
for
I think
sure.
you just froze.
All right. Well, thanks
Take it
everybody
back
for
then.
coming to Deconstruction Junction. I hope that you enjoyed it. I look like I'm having an issue over here.
Yeah, it does look like that. I'll close this out. We will be back next week at some point, maybe, to deconstruct. Deconstruct. We'll let you know of the time. We may be shifting things around yet again, but I have enjoyed being here with you today, Dr. Flo. Y'all continue to be anti-racist. Continue to cultivate a beginner's mindset. Be safe. Wear a mask. Make good trouble. Do good works. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable. And you can find us at lovedandlovable.bio.link to follow along with everything. Just throw us a quick app, grab your membership, let us know what you're interested in seeing from us, and we'll talk to you soon. Toodles.